One of the things he asked was like, what's the pitfalls? What are some pitfalls of working with individual contractors or freelancers? Considering you empower them, we kind of talked about some things to keep in mind in the development landscape of hiring a freelancer. Let me hear your experience on like hiring freelancers. Have you had like really bad experiences and built heuristics from that, since you have a one-man business,
Right.
that's like helped you navigate those relationships later that you could pass off to a non-technical founder?
Sure.
business
Yeah.
owner?
Because the implication is that they're hourly. So, I mean, assuming that they are hourly, which most of them are, then there's sort of I've had two kinds of experiences. One is where they're in a different cost of living type of country and their hourly rate is so low that it doesn't matter to me if they take 2 hours or 10 hours, it's irrelevant. Because the thing that I want them to do is worth way more than that to me. And on the other end, you get sort of more of these premium people who want to charge you $100, $200 an hour. And then you say, okay, great, go. And then in the first week, they go 80 hours before they have a check-in. And you're like, wait a second. Like, this isn't, maybe it's my fault. There was some assumption that I made and there's no blame necessarily, but that person went way too far down the rabbit hole with the meter running to completely waste my time and money. And so assuming that the hourly rate is non-trivial, I guess I would say, I mean, first of all, try and get them to just agree that there's $5,000 for this next test. Can you do it or not? Great. I mean, that's the main thing. But if that's not going to happen and it's hourly, then you want to know, you want to be in the loop. Like you want to have some kind of every day or every other day, some kind of check-in. And I would probably say, my expectation is you're not going to work more than 40 hours a week on this. Between 20 and 40, something like that. So you get a budget, or you could say, you can work as many hours as you want on this, but I'm not paying more than $1,000 per invoice per week. So do what you want, but it's a maximum of $1,000 a week. So that way you're sure you're going to get a check-in, and you can, especially at the beginning, you'd be like, oh, I forgot to tell them it all has to be in Japanese, or there's probably something you forgot to tell them. And there's this assumption gap where it's not a knowledge gap, it's an assumption gap where you're just new to this person, they might not speak English, or that you two might not speak the same language. And it's like, there's probably assumptions you're making and assumptions they're making that can lead to you losing a ton of money for no good reason. But you don't know what they are until you start working together. But the first couple of check-ins, you're like, oh, I forgot to tell you, it needs to be mobile friendly. Like I assumed you would make everything mobile friendly, because why wouldn't you? But that was an assumption on my part, or whatever the case may be. So I would perhaps set something like a weekly maximum or something like that, and then just make sure you're getting check-ins. You don't have to do it forever, but until you understand that the two people kind of like, okay, we understand each other. You just don't want them running off and burning 80 hours in the wrong direction and then expecting to get paid for it. And just, that's not good for anybody.